Hey, how's it going, everyone? My name is Irving Pena. I'm in quarter four. I'm a freshman at the University of Michigan, and in this video, I'll kind of be giving a little recap of what my first year in college was like. As you guys all probably know, school was canceled. Not canceled, it was moved to online for all college students. And although it abruptly ended for me, I can't say that my first year of college was the best year of my life, hands down. And yeah, so I still got to experience some of like the most amazing times of my life, and in this video I'll kind of be highlighting some of those and just talk about my first year in general. I a I'll go ahead and begin. So like I said, I'm a freshman at the University of Michigan, so I'm kind of gonna talk about what the application process was like applying for Michigan and why I chose Michigan in the first place. Uh, so um, as many of you guys, I'm also a first generation student, so I had no idea what I was doing when I was applying to school, so I applied to like a ton of schools. I can't really remember the exact number, but I know it was over 20. Um, so the Common App gave me a bunch of fee waivers because I like met this certain criteria for like your financial status. So I utilized those 20 fee waivers and applied to schools all over the country. I almost ended up going to Miami, almost ended up going to San Diego, Lehigh University, Richmond. But hands down, one of the best schools that I got accepted to was the University of Michigan. Um, at the time, the University of Michigan was the number one public university in the country. I believe now it's like Berkeley or UCLA, one of the UCs, but it's like one of the best research universities here in the country. So being that I wanted to be like this one world renowned trauma surgeon and go major in biology, I was like, you know what, this is gonna be the best bet for me. Like we have one of the best hospitals in the country here at Michigan. So I was like, you know what, this is perfect. Like this is where I'm gonna like transcend into like where I want to end up in the future. Now I'm not really sure if I want to go pre-med, but I'll talk more about my major later on in the video. But yeah, so I chose Michigan because like I said, it was the best school I got into, and yeah. Um, One thing that I didn't really, at the time, that I didn't really like about getting accepted into Michigan was that I got notified that if I wanted to go to Michigan, I would have to attend a summer program called Summer Bridge. And rather than starting in the fall of 2019, I would have to start in the summer of 2019. So yeah, like I just graduated high school, obviously. I want to spend time with my friends before they all head out to their respective colleges and stuff like that. But because I went to Michigan, I didn't get to spend time with my friends. Like my goodbyes were cut very short. I had to leave. I want to say like end of April, beginning of June. Can't really remember exactly, but I'm sorry, not April. End of May, beginning of June. Um, so yeah, I literally rather than starting in the fall, like I said, I had to start in the summer. So I was already a college student to be in the summer. And like I said, I hated that the thought of just being in school again, even though I just graduated high school right away. Like I wanted to take that break and spend time with my friends. But so yeah, so like at that time, I kind of hated the idea of like being in the summer bridge program. But after the whole summer bridge program was done with, and even like in the middle of it, I was actually super grateful. Summer bridge has hands down been one of the greatest things I've also experienced, and like I credit like my love for this my first year of college because of summer bridge. Um, it kind of just made that transition into college a lot smoother. I met a lot of friends and like people that I know were gonna help me out later on in the future. Which two of people that I met in the summer are literally my best friends now. Um, if you guys don't know anything about Michigan, the campus is enormous. So as a first year in college, like it's super easy to get lost there. Luckily for me, I knew my way around college already because of summer bridge, and I was helping out other first years that started in the fall because I already knew about the campus. So, um, yeah, I just kind of made that transition from high school to college a lot easier, and that's what their like main focus was. It was to provide support for like kids transitioning from high school to college and make that transition a lot smoother, and it definitely did. I'm very grateful for it. Now, I'll start talking about the different highlights that I got to experience throughout the year, even though, like I said, it was an abrupt ending. So the first thing I have listed here is I got to meet a lot of people and professors. Like I said, the two people that I met during summer bridge were or are literally my best friends now. And I know that even after I graduate college, like those are gonna be people I'm going to stay in contact with because literally, guys, the scary thing about college is that you're literally an adult now, and like you, everything that's going on now is gonna impact you later on in the future. Like it's kind of hard to explain it, but I think like you kind of get what I'm saying. Like the people you meet now are the people that are gonna be with you like for the rest of your life, and I'm definitely sure that these two people that I've met already, my best friends, are gonna be there throughout my whole life with me. So yeah, you get to meet amazing people in college. Like you guys all are in college and like you're literally aiming to like better your future by going to college. So it kind of like I don't know, it's very inspiring to see so many students like working towards something. And that's one of the one things that I love about college so much. But on top of that, you also meet a lot of professors. And that there's one thing that I want you guys to take away from this video is that connections are literally essential in life, especially in college. So I met this one professor, and so going into Michigan, I should have mentioned this earlier, but going into Michigan, I got into this one thing called an MLC, a Michigan Learning Community, and it's basically designated like summer bridges kind of eases the transition from high school to college, but these MLCs have programs specific to a particular interest. So one of the MLCs that I got into was the Health Science Scholars Program. We call it HISP for short. HISP was like for students interested in being like nurses, if they're interested in pre-med, anything having to do with health. So, like I said, like I wanted to be this one world-renowned trauma surgeon, and I was like, you know what, HISP is gonna give like I'll talk about all the different benefits you can get out of HISP as well later on in the video, but yeah, so like that's why I joined HISP because I thought I was gonna be a surgeon and I was gonna get so much out of it. Because of HISP, I'm also like not sure if I want to be a surgeon, which I'll talk about later on in the video as well. But from HISP, like going back to that professor's aspect of college, like the professor of HISP is literally one of the most amazing people I've met. He's like in his mid 20s, but he's already accomplished so much. Like he worked with the Obama administration to like write the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and I don't know. He knows so many people, and that's like it just goes to show that making connections is so essential because that one connection you make might know someone else who might know someone else who like can land you a job or something like that. So yeah, that connection I know that I made with that professor, which I also got into a study abroad program, which I'll talk about that in a bit also. Making connection is so key in college. So please make connections in college. But yeah, going on, Michigan sports is so Michigan football is literally something that Michigan. So like I guess like we have out here in Michigan, we have like the most wins in history, like out of the whole nation. So it's like football is super big here at in Ann Arbor, in the city I'm in. But yeah, so our stadium is called the Big House. We fit over 100,000 people. It's actually the biggest stadium in the United States. It's the second biggest in the entire world behind South Korea Stadium. But yeah, so just it's like surreal, like walking in from the outside into the actual stadium. Like you just look around you, it's crazy. But the football games were amazing. The basketball games were super amazing too. Um, yeah, like I don't know, words can't explain. Like if you think your high school sports are hype now, imagine that times a million. Like sports, like so, like our saying is "Go Blue," and like we have this one like fight song. I don't know, it's super amazing. And it's just like words can't explain how much I missed that. That's like the one thing I'm really looking forward to in the fall. But yeah, that's one of like that's the actual college experience that I believe that people think like in movies kind of what you get. So yeah, that was amazing. Um, so like I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned it. The University of Michigan was the number one public university, uh, mainly because their research program is phenomenal. Like we have this one thing called the undergraduate research opportunity, where first and second years. So usually in college you have to wait until like you're a junior or senior to like do your own research, but Michigan lets you start as early as your freshman year. I actually got accepted to it, and I was gonna start this year towards the end, and mainly for my second year, but obviously because of COVID-19, that ended shortly, so I'll just have to start next year. But yeah, I don't know exactly what research program I'm going to be in, but I get to choose that, so that's really exciting for me. Um, I'm just really excited overall. I can do research on literally whatever I want. I'll be partnered with like a faculty who's doing research on that in that area that I'm interested in as well. So again, that's another connection that I'll be able to make. Uh, One thing that also happened here is that I got to see Bernie Sanders. He came to the university campus, and I got to like stand behind him. I got to represent one of the Latinx organizations here on campus. So it was overall really cool. That was one of the highlights of my year as well. Um, so I'm gonna talk about my major here. College has gave me the opportunity to learn so much, not only about other like things such as like chemistry, for example, or something, and like other people, but college has given me the opportunity to learn so much about myself and like what I'm actually interested in. So, like I said, I thought I was gonna come into college majoring in biology or something like that, but because of all the amazing professors here at college that kind of like broaden your perspective on what you want to do. Now I don't think I want to do that. Now I'm more into the public health aspect of healthcare, specifically policy. HISP taught me that at the time, like I knew about it, but I wasn't really sure what name to give it and stuff like that. But I learned so much about health disparities and health inequities here in the country, especially within Latinx communities. So now I'm thinking more about devoting my life to reforming those health inequities and health disparities. Um, of course, med school is it's still in the picture. Of course, like I don't know. That's the one thing about college you'll realize is that you're gonna change your mind so many times. I still don't know exactly what I'm gonna do, but I know for a fact public health is something I'm gonna look at and potentially I'm gonna apply to that. So there's like different colleges at the University of Michigan. The School of Public Health is one of them, so I'm gonna apply next year and hopefully I get in. But yeah, that's like a little bit about my major. I don't really know exactly what I want to do right now, but it's okay. Like being open to so many things is really important in college because you just get to experience so much. Which that's what I love about Michigan too is that they have so many different professors that teach so many different things that might just pique your interest that you really had no idea that you actually liked. But so now I'll talk about that study abroad that I mentioned earlier. So because I was very close to my professor from HISP, there was an application that went out to for a study abroad actually about healthcare in the UK in London specifically. So I was literally going to spend a summer in London learning about the UK's healthcare system, which was like literally perfect for what I actually want to do in the future. So that's why I applied to it, thinking that this would be an amazing opportunity for me. But unfortunately, coronavirus happened, and now I cannot attend that study abroad in London. So yeah, I'll have to see how going forward that will work out. But uh, college, for the like any college pretty much, for the most part, there is study abroad where you can literally study in other countries that you've never been in, and it's amazing. Like just being in that. Well, obviously I wouldn't really know because I didn't get the chance to go, but I can just imagine being in another country such as London, Spain. I don't know, like I was also looking at the South Africa study abroad program. Like being in these countries, volunteering and learning at the same time is like amazing. Like there's nothing else like that. So yeah, that's one thing I really liked about college, but unfortunately got cut short. One thing that I also liked about HISP was that we had various shadowing opportunities. So we get to shadow two health professionals per semester, so two in the fall and two in the winter. Um, in the fall, I got to shadow a interventionalist cardiologist. So I was in the cath lab with a actual doctor, like watching him stick a tube into like this one old person, and like we got just like it was very weird. You see, like that's what I thought I wanted to do, like stuff like that, like being in the lab and like working with people like that, something like that. But on the other hand, I also shadowed a social worker who kind of just gave support to families about what the uh, uh what the procedure they were gonna like end up going through was going to be like. And I actually liked the social work shadow much more than I did the interventionalist cardiologist, just because that patient to patient interaction and like actually seeing how like these patients like feel rather than just like working on them sedated or something like that. That was like amazing to me, and surprisingly like the social worker aspect of healthcare more than I did the actual cath lab aspect of it. But yeah, so that was really interesting. And the next semester, well, I mean, this semester I was supposed to shadow. Um, I was really excited for this one. I was supposed to shadow an ER in the. I'm sorry. I was supposed to shadow a PA, a physician assistant, in the ER. Spend a day with them, kind of just. I don't know. I had friends who previously attended that shadowing opportunity who said it was really amazing. So I was really looking forward to that. But I also got into a an athletic trainer, so I was gonna spend a day at the big house in the or stadium, literally with an athletic trainer, like following him around during one of the spring practices, so I could have like hung out with the football players and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do that anymore, but yeah, that's one of the various things that I was looking forward to, but it was cut short. I also got to another thing about HISP is that we have these alternative spring break programs. I know this is nationwide, so a lot of colleges do it, but alternative spring breaks are like you literally. My spring break was a lot earlier than your guys was. So mine was like towards the end of February, beginning of March. Rather than going home for my spring break, I got to like volunteer in a program of my choice, and I got into a an Indiana program in South Bend, Indiana, where I was volunteering at a garden. And at the time I was kind of mad. I was like, why am I going to go to Indiana rather than going back home to Vegas? But you know what? Like, I'm super grateful I did it. I learned so much um, about gardening and like giving back to the community. This is one thing called Unity Gardens, which is super amazing. I could make a whole nother video talking about what that was about. But yeah, so I got to volunteer, go to these different homeless centers and actually interact with the people there too. It was overall an amazing learning experience. And yeah, so I'm very grateful that I actually gave up my spring break to do that. I got close to so many people there as well. And yeah, another highlight of my freshman year was visiting various conferences. So one specifically that I'll highlight in this video is that I got to go to Chicago for a weekend and listen to all these different Latinx leaders talking about how it's like so empowering to be Latino, stuff like that. Which at Michigan, obviously, there's a very very small population of Latinx students, but just being in that setting with so many already like Latinx leaders that made it already, such as like the former U.S. Surgeon General. She was like one of the guest speakers there. Overall, it was super cool. I got to represent Michigan there, and I'm looking forward to doing that next year, hopefully as well. And lastly, but not least, on one of my highlights here is those all-nighters that I would pull. So in the summer especially, I was taking a writing course. So all freshmen are required to take a writing course here at Michigan. And I decided to just knock it out my summer term. So they would literally, so one thing about college is that essays in college are not like essays in high school, obviously. But I had to write a research paper, which was like a minimum of 15 pages. And me, being the procrastinator that I was, didn't really start it until 2 days before it was due, more so a day before it was due. So me and my friend were the same way. We would stay up until like, so we had a class at 10 a.m. We would stay up until like 5 a.m. just knocking out this paper, which I know sounds very, very bad, and it is very bad. I don't recommend you guys do that. I recommend you guys have a tight schedule and a plan of how you're going to get your guys' things done. But yeah, so we would like stay up till 5 a.m. knocking out these papers. Surprisingly, they came out very well. I got an A in the class, which was really good. But those all-nighters were bittersweet. Bitter at the moment, obviously, because who wants to stay up until 5 a.m. writing a whole research paper? But sweet because, like, that's college. That's literally what college is. Like, I really don't know how to explain it in words, but that stress, like, I don't know, something about that stress I love so much, and, like, I miss it. Like, studying for these chemistry exams, stressing, but I don't know, I just miss it so much. Like, that's the actual college, like your typical college student that's so stressed about finals and stuff like that. Like, I miss that. Like, it sounds crazy, but obviously at the time, while I'm stressed, I'm not gonna say this, but that pressure, I don't know, I just miss it so much. And I know a lot of you guys will probably feel the same way. You guys will know what I'm talking about. So yeah, that's kind of some of the highlights of my freshman year at college. I'm just gonna kind of give a little word of encouragement for graduating seniors this year. Trust me. Well, I mean, obviously, first of all, I don't know exactly what your pain feels like because obviously I graduated and I got the chance to graduate. But um, like, just know that everyone, freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, know exactly what you guys like. We guys see you guys experience the pain that you guys are experiencing because like literally like other than my freshman year, like my senior year of high school was the best year of my life. Like, especially towards the end, like when you start doing all like your senior trips and stuff like that. But I just really feel you guys' pain. Obviously, I can't very like really feel it because I didn't experience it, like I said. But I know exactly that you guys are going through a rough time right now, and I'm super sorry that it had to end it this way. But um, just know that it's okay. You guys are gonna graduate college as well. I actually lived in the same dorm with a few seniors who are graduating college this year as well. So I literally like watched them bawl and like cry just because like the graduation ceremony got canceled. So I know what it's like for you guys, and I'm super sorry, but I promise you guys just gotta like keep going forward, and greater things are gonna be waiting for you guys in the future. For younger cohorts, um, literally like I never if I my sophomore year, like I never pictured my or even my junior year, I never pictured myself at one of the best universities in the world. So it just goes to show that hard work literally does pay off. Everything you're doing now will contribute to the success of your own success and your future. So please give everything you have now, and like later on, after you graduate college and you're working a career, you'll look back and be like, I'm here because of all the hard work I put in earlier. Like I said, it's all worth it. Like one, like a motto that I live by, which my dad said it to me. My dad's one of my biggest inspirations, but something that he told me is that nothing in life that's good is easy. Because if it was easy already, then everyone in the world would have it. And that's not the way it is, unfortunately, or fortunately, actually. So, pretty much what that means is to literally give it all you got. Like, never step foot off the gas. Just keep going forward because eventually you will be where you want to be. Obviously, like in my case, where I wanted to be is not where like exactly how I envisioned right now, but I'm so grateful, and I'm a firm believer that everything happens for a reason. So please just keep going forward, and all the hard work you're putting in now, I promise you will pay off in the future one day. I'm here to support all of you guys, as I bet are older cohorts. So please, if you guys need any type of support in whatever, whether it be for like mentoring or if you need help in the application process, for example, LIT is here to support you. I'm here to support you. Past, even like your own peers right now are they're there for support you. So please don't be scared to reach out to people if you need help. Like I said, LIT is one big family, which is one things I love about it so much is that we can really reach out to each other if we need help with something. So yeah, that kind of concludes this video. I also just want to talk about